Hi, this is Asim.
This is Sujoy.
This is Amrita.
And you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast about the three main Khans of the Hindi film industry.
Amir,
Salman,
and Shara.
Hi, you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast regular feed. Thank you so much for your support over the years. We now have a Patreon channel with bonus content and exclusive merch for those of you who would like to support us. Every dollar goes towards creating more and better content. Visit us at patreon.com/Khandaan Podcast.
a big thank you to all our supporters at Patreon: Usma, Jasmine, Nandini, Sirjana, Sunita, Pamela, Ruhi, Rihani, Farzana, Isa, Chitra, SK, Nika, Puitams, Laina, Pranjal, Supriya, Javeria, Devansh, Karan, Mofi, Deepta, G, Deepti, Rebecca, Drama Panda, Shah, Manish, Chitra, Irfan, Suha, Lady Saibal, Navsharan, Jackie, Shakila, Abdullah, and our mystery benefactor who prefers not to be named.
Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Khandaan Podcast. My name is Asim Bernie, and I'm just joined by Sujoy for the moment. Hi, Sujoy.
Hello, Asim. Hello, everyone.
I think, Sujoy, everybody's wondering how you've been. I think, we kind of dropped like a very concerned bomb last time about you being what's that movie with Imran Hashmi where he's battling the floods? No, basically you were Shah Rukh Khan in that sequence where he's saving the church, right? That's what you were?
In the middle of New Orleans.
Yeah, and my name is Khan. Your name was Khan.
Yeah, I mean, I am in I'm in the second biggest town in Assam in India, and still conditions are pretty dire here. Part of the town is still submerged, and if it rains heavily for another 2 days, then I don't know. The infrastructure here is definitely not prepared for such situations. It's pretty amazing how people carry on with their lives. But yeah, that's the way it is. I guess people are struggling very much so. And once the water levels rise up to a certain point, parts of the town get flooded and the drainage isn't well. And so the power cuts happen on a very regular basis. And so I was unable to join the last time.
Crazy. I think last time we also added list of charities in your area, so I'll post it again, hearing that things are not better. So maybe that will help if people want to help out and contribute. But it's good to have you back on the show and hear that you're all safe. Amrita is maybe on her way, we don't know yet, so it's like a dude bro podcast this time. Basically Amrita is not there, so it's no holds barred. We're in chaddi banyan at the moment, we're not even dressed up. So the quality of the whole podcast might have dropped suddenly, and I understand if a lot of people don't even want to listen any further. So I totally get we have a huge percentage of the audience that only listens because of Amrita, and I understand that and I acknowledge that. We'll try our best though.
There is no way that we both can make it up for Amrita's absence on this episode.
Hell no, we're a bunch of idiots. She's the one that makes us sound smart. But we'll give it our best shot, man. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how we do. Basically, we still want to get to Veer Zara. I think a lot of people are waiting for that one, but we want to do it where the whole crew is together. We kind of put it off. So this is again a kind of a catch-up episode, stuff that we watched. I'm most of all keen, Sujoy, to hear about your thoughts on Broken News, because I watched one episode on the last episode of Khandaan we did, and you had seen the whole show. And I liked the first episode, so I'm keen to hear how the rest of the show is.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's a very bingeable and like really nicely packaged show. It's how many episodes was it? I think it's like 8 episodes of around 37 minutes ish, 30 to 37 minutes ish, and it circles around. I guess you've only watched the first episode, but it all starts with the climax, right? The
Yeah.
show sort of starts with the foreshadowing of what is going to happen in the final episode, which is the protagonist character played by Shreya Pilgaonkar. She's getting arrested. She has been deemed as anti-national on the national news by this rival news channel run by Jaideep Alawat's character. And then it goes to flashback about what were the events that led into this. So this show is a remake or an adaptation of a BBC show called Press, and
Mm.
that show is kind of based on because in the UK we don't necessarily have news channels as such which are battling for eyeballs and such. There is the BBC News or World Service or BBC News channel, and there is Sky News, and that's about it, right?
Yeah.
And but the landscape here in India is completely different. There's like 1,000 news channels from every single corner of the country, and there are national news channels which sort of run all these syndicate networks as well. So there is a cutthroat competition between them to gather eyeballs. So news has sort of devolved over the years, over the last decade or so, into this. It's almost eating up into the entertainment industry as such, and it is being treated as such. And
Mm.
that is the kind of difference that the two versions of the show has, because the British one is more focused on the whole Daily Mail and tabloids versus the left wing leaning newspapers and the whole taping scandal that happened with Daily Mail and the Sun. And then I have not finished the British show yet, but that was the main difference that I found, that they were sort of talking about the press industry as such, and hence the name. Whereas the Indian version, which is Broken News, more focuses obviously in a totally different genre of journalism, which is the TV journalism, which is 24/7. Obviously, there is some sort of a similarity in that the press show focuses on the morning newspaper prints and such. So there is a deadline as such, and the press and the Broken News sort of focuses on the 9 p.m. prime time format where the entire nation sits down to watch. But it's kind of the that's where the interesting translation has happened. And I think Jaideep Alawat as well as Shreya Pilgaonkar have really played both their roles. Like they are really fantastic in it. I really enjoyed them because I can see sort of who they are pointing at, and their like real life counterparts as such.
Mm.
And they've sort of also leaned into the whole data security and thing that is sort of very prevalent about monopolies of certain telecom companies in India, and how they are taking over, the data and such. So there are really interesting concepts that are being handled. I really enjoyed watching Sonali Bendre after a very long time, and she has a really meaty role. She's not like you know in her Bollywood career, where she was mostly reduced to an eye candy, except for certain movies. She really gets to shine in this show, and she's made the most out of it. I really enjoyed Broken News. I think Suchin, in his review on Hindustan Times, also wrote that this is Z5's best show since Jurels, and I think that's correct. I totally agree with that as well.
Yeah, I think the ideological battle is kind of the same
Mhm.
between press and Broken News,
Yeah.
about being on the one side vulgarity for clicks, compared to like balanced old school journalism, or at least the idea that we have of journalism. Maybe it might not be true, but yeah, it is interesting how they're kind of
Well,
shifting it to
yeah, they've
TV.
also sort of. It's very clever. Like I would say that they are not saying which side is better, because both sides have their
Yeah.
pitfalls, like
Yeah.
nobody's clean in the clean,
Yeah.
When the left leaning or the more liberal, integral, righteous news channel has to sort of sell out because they are losing,
Mm.
ratings as such, and the right wing, more right wing and more pro system and government channels have to also suffer, the wrath of the system themselves, because there is a line that they cannot cross when it comes to, all of that, all the complexities. It's quite nuanced. I thought, because I was definitely not impressed by the trailer, but once I watched the first episode, I was totally surprised by how well this was made. And yeah, it's worth a watch, I would definitely say.
Yeah. And does it follow the whole season, follow kind of press the UK version, or does it kind of deviate and become its own thing later on? And
So
uh,
I haven't really seen press completely. I've only seen like one or two episodes, and I think other than the main characters sort of falling into the same sort of spectrum of journalism as how they are portrayed, I don't know if there are any other similarities as such. But
mm,
I have to watch press to see if they have copied everything or not.
yeah. Yeah, and Shilpa Pilgaonkar, she's
Mhm.
really going hardcore on streaming, man. She's got
Yeah,
like three shows out at the same time, and all of them are pretty good, right? Like
yeah.
Guilty Minds, Murder in Agonda. I've not seen that one yet. I don't know if it's out, but and then Broken News, and all of them seem to be pretty
And do
good.
you know, well, the nepotism angle as such, but she is out there on her own, actually. But she is the daughter of Sachin and
Yeah.
Supriya Pilgaonkar.
Right, right, but yeah, yeah, that's the nepotism thing, right? I don't think they have that much pull.
No,
I know, like people love to say Ananya Pandey, but I don't think Chunky Pandey has that much pull either. Like
yeah.
I don't think they can make it happen. Or Bhagyashree's son, these guys do have to work. But yeah, I mean, it's a very complicated debate. But yeah, she is the daughter of a kind of known actor from the 80s, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I just know him from the Amitabh movies. What was the
Satyaprasad.
one? Yeah, Satya. That's the only one I know him from, and he always had like weird hair, kind of
He's
like.
both of them are very, very known in television as well as like the Marathi film industry as well.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, yeah, but she's been good in everything I've seen her in.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, I think she's one to watch out. What else have you seen that was good?
So I definitely did not watch as much Desi content as you did. Like you watched incomplete stuff though.
I've been like, time is precious,
Yeah,
and I have now decided to skip things if
yeah.
I don't enjoy it. Like I did it with Hiropanti. I gave up after 15 minutes,
Did you guys
and
talk about Hirupanti the last
I
time?
didn't. I didn't have enough content for it, so I didn't. Like
Yeah,
you watched it, right? And then
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
spoke about it, so
Yeah.
I couldn't finish it, and you weren't really happy with it. I did watch Runway 34,
Uh-huh.
which I watched the half of.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my thoughts on Runway
Yeah,
34?
half of Runway.
Half of Runway.
So you watched Runway 17.
17. Yeah, math jokes. See, this is why we need Amrita, man. This is what we do otherwise, making math jokes. It's, like Amitabh is in it, so I'll watch it anyway. Like I've watched terrible movies with Amitabh, but he's in it, so I'll give it a shot. And I've watched only half of it, but I will finish it. I will finish this movie, although the first half is not good.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is that Ajay Devgan directed this movie, right? And it's
Wow.
kind of an adaptation to Flight from Robert Zemeckis
Denzel.
with Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Flight, so I'm not 100% sure how much they kind of took from it, but I'm assuming a lot.
Yeah.
So but what's interesting is when a guy like Ajay Devgan is directing a movie, right? Like he can direct whatever he wants. Like he's an established actor, he's got tons of money, but when he decides to pick a project, it has to speak to him. It has to be his voice, right? And for me, it kind of gives an insight like no other movie that he's done as an actor to what goes on in the mind of Ajay Devgan.
Yeah.
And that's what fascinates me. And watching Runway 34, Ajay Devgan's soul is filled with disdain and despair. That's what it feels like to me. Like it's so cool because when you make your own movie, you can have a movie where the intro song has the lyric, "He's the man, he's the alpha." Like, isn't that cool? Like, you just make your movie, and like, I don't imagine Robert Zemeckis did this with Denzel Washington,
No.
but when Ajay Devgan does it, he's like, yeah, I'll put a rap song in it where I'm the alpha, I'm the man. And this dude, there's so much like cigarette smoking. This movie just feels like from a different era. Like back in the 80s when people were just smoking left and right and it looked super cool. And pilots were like this high valued, well-paid, prestigious job, which it's not the case at all. Yeah. Like here we have Ajay Devgan going to clubs and being in Dubai and driving around with the chauffeur, and he's just basically piloting a regular airline. So there's no way that this is the lifestyle he has,
Yeah.
And it's like so much bad CGI. Like seriously cheap CGI. And I would wonder if this is why, because Ajay Devgan apparently doesn't get along too well with Shah Rukh. And because that, he cannot use red chili. So whatever he's using is like downgrade cheap CGI and looks terrible. And when I went back and thought about it, even all of his other movies, Shivai and Yumi or Hum, had bad CGI. So I think he needs to patch up with Shah Rukh just to get, an in with the red chilies or something like that.
Yeah.
So the idea is that he's this maverick, best of the best airline pilot, and he's driving this plane, but he's also drunk, and like he drinks, he has like a drinking problem. He's been going out partying with this really terrible friend that he has, and the plane runs into trouble, and he has to do like a crash kind of landing. But he saves pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
And then there's an investigation on him, like, why did you do it? So pretty much the template of Flight. And Amitabh is the one that will be cross-examining him in a way. But even that is really funny because, it's an idea of what Ajay Devgan thinks. He thinks he is amazing. The ladies love him, grannies trust him, all the eyes are on him, and he does an amazing job even when he's drunk or he's rude to his co-pilots, and he can land the plane eyes closed with a cigarette dangling out of his mouth, but he still gets persecuted. And that is what Ajay Devgan's mindset, like, I am so amazing, I do an amazing job, still the people are after me. And I think that's what appealed him in the story, and that's just like hilarious to me. And it's like, it's so badly acted. Like the airplane, it's like the Noah's Ark of India. Like they have one community, one person of every community. You have a Punjabi blogger, you have a Gujarati, businessman, you have like an educated person, and you have like, it's
a Matt's joke again.
It's really, really bad, man. And it's also like the first person that's ever vlogged, the first kid that's ever played a video game. Like there's a boy playing a video game, and he's like pew 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 pew, and like really shifting the phone to all sides, and like you can hear the pew 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 sounds making, and the boy's wearing headphones. Like why would there be pew 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 sounds from the video game if he's wearing? It's like these little things that make absolutely no sense.
No, so this exactly shows like what goes in Ajay Devgan's head, right?
Yeah.
This is his perspective of what a video game boy is in reality, and he has no clue. He does not know of Minecraft or whatever games kids are playing. He just knows pew pew pew.
Yeah, and obviously the kid is like an overweight Punjabi kid, like that
course.
kind of thing. It's like, it's every sort of cliche that you have out there. So I was waiting for Amitabh, and I was like an hour into the movie, and Amitabh only showed up then. I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, I wasted an hour for this. So I want to see the rest of the hour that I actually do want to watch. But I'll maybe circle back on Runway 17 if when it becomes Runway 34.
Yeah.
But it's streaming on Netflix, and I do not recommend people watch this. No, it's streaming on Prime, actually. Sorry, it's streaming on Prime, and I don't necessarily recommend people watch this. But yeah, that was me. What else?
I did not watch, as I said, I did not watch any Desi content. I think I was busy watching Only Murders in the Building season 2, which started, I think, last week or so. And I obviously, like the rest of the world, I was also busy watching Stranger Things season 4, volume 2.
How are you finding it? I'm having trouble with this season, man.
Right.
Like, it's getting me, like, it's annoyed me a lot. And now I'm kind of getting into the vibe of it. I think I'm in episode so I waited for the second part to drop. I didn't want to watch it when they kind of did the first part only. So I think I'm in episode 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so 7 is the last of volume 1, and then 8, 9 is like the second volume, and
Right.
8, 9, episode 8 is like 90 minutes long.
Yeah, they're all like long, man. Yeah.
No, second, like volume 2 is proper feature length, because episode 8 is 90 minutes long and episode 9 is 2 hours 20.
Oh dear. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
It's like proper feature length. I can totally get it why you're getting frustrated, because I think the first part of Stranger Things season 4, the volume 1, was they took their own sweet time to build things, and I think episode 7 everything paid off so well. That's why, like, and I think that they really took advantage of Netflix's release pattern, which so they released all 7 episodes in a go, so people don't really have the time to complain about, oh, this episode felt like a filler, because you just go to the next episode and find out what happens as such. And I think what was frustrating in volume 1 was a lot of the main characters from season 1 and 2 sort of became these ancillary characters all of a sudden, which kind of felt very out of place. But they have also introduced, like, I think Eddie, the guy who is from the Hellfire Club, he is like one of the best characters that I've seen in a very
he's like a fan favorite, isn't he?
Yeah, he's amazing. He's really, really good. And I think the whole reveal that happens in episode 7, I was so satisfied that, an episode, I think, again, like volume 2 just pushed all my buttons, and like I'm very, very satisfied. And obviously it ends on it sets up for the final season. I'm very, very pleased with how they did it. I don't want to give away any spoilers in case anybody is yet to watch it.
Oh, I'm happy, because for me, like, there were a lot of moments where I was like just huffing and puffing, because I think one thing that annoys me is that they split up the groups, and like the group dynamic was the main thing that I liked about Stranger Things. Those kids hanging together, and that wasn't the case anymore. So and until where I am, they've not reunited yet. So that is really bugging me. And also just the character of 11, the way they've she's just been crying for 7 episodes in a row, and that annoys me. And also,
but that's not right. Like, I think they set it up right for why she is miserable this whole season, because she's carrying this entire guilt, because she's having flashbacks of how she the last time she used her power and what happened, and she's carrying that guilt. But then obviously things happen in final episode, which will explain a lot of things. And I think somewhere, I think one of the video essays that have done certain explanations of Stranger Things, somebody pointed out, and it was like an aha moment for me as well, why I like season 3 so much. Is this season 3 or season 4?
This is season 4.
Season 4. So why I like season 4 so much compared to the last season was because season 1 was so great, right? But for all 3 seasons, we've only had villains which are monsters.
Yeah.
And Vecna, which is the main villain here, has some sort of he speaks, and
Mm.
that there is that connection about why that is he is not just a monster, and
Yeah.
the whole theory about why the heroes need to be beat a particular strong villain, or a strong the heroes are as strong as the villain is because fighting the unknown is kind of if it gets repetitive because it's just a new monster every season, whereas Vecna has things that need to be revealed, and that's why I really like this season.
Mm. It's also just I feel it's stuck in that 80s slasher horror movie format where there's a lot of jump scares, and
Yeah,
it's something that I've never it's never really appealed to me.
right.
There's a lot of this, oh, it's a flashback in a dream of a nightmare in another dimension, and then it's switches back from the reveal on reveal on reveal, and it's like I know kind of where it's going, and it never really surprises me. So there's just a lot of them,
Mm.
and
That took me by surprise that I didn't remember I was as scared in previous seasons of Stranger Things as this season. Like they
yeah,
really amped the scares up.
yeah.
This season really goes on full horror,
And
and
gore, like proper
yeah,
gore, right? Like even with the with the Demogorgon, and a lot of the kills that are happening are really violent. Where I remember the first few seasons, the barb one was the big one.
yeah.
That was the sad one. But now it's like something terrible is happening like every other episode. Or
Mm.
maybe a few times in the episode.
Yeah,
So yeah,
but one last thing that I need to highlight: we loved Eddie's character in this season, but the biggest MVP of this season is definitely the actress who plays Max. Uh,
Max.
oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah,
What an actress!
yeah. Already, like last season, she was probably the best
Mhm.
part of it,
Yeah.
and yeah, she's great in this one too. Uh, Eddie, I just don't like heavy metal, man. I've never been into heavy metal and guitar, so nothing of that appeals to me. We had the hip hop in the '80s. Where's my hip hop? Yeah, you
Yeah,
know?
but I'm well. I'm a metalhead. I've
Yes,
been,
you are.
I've been a big Metallica fan, and like, Kate Bush was propelled into a newfound stardom and
Yeah,
fandom since the Volume One release of Running Up the Hill. I really hope that the same thing happens for Metallica and Master of Puppets, and people find it like new kids have found the music through this show.
yeah. I'm basically like Steve when Eddie's like, "Yeah, you're heavy metal. You're this guy. You're that guy," and Steve like, "Who are you talking about?" Like, good. Anything else you watched?
Only Murders in the Building, but only 2 episodes so far of season 2. A
I've
show
not
that,
watched them yet. I'm kind of like waiting for a few
yeah,
more episodes. I want to binge that show, man. I don't want to
yeah.
like.
Like two things that I want to say so far. I really find Selena Gomez to be very, very hot. Like I don't know why, but she
Yeah,
is so pretty, and
it's very pretty. Yeah,
she's so good in the show. I
yeah.
wasn't expecting her to be as good. Like you know,
Dude, you should watch her cooking show. That's how I got into Selena Gomez. I'd never heard, like, literally never heard of her. Like, maybe like via, like, you
Justin
have all of
Bieber.
these. Yeah, you have. But I don't know Justin Bieber either. I'm old. You hear these names floating around like Gigi Hadid and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, those are people. But I don't know what they do. Like, like I'm still don't know sure how many Kardashians there are. I don't know
Yeah,
these things.
me neither.
But so I'd heard the name, but I don't know what she did. And then I ended up watching her cooking show on HBO. I think
Right.
it's called Selena and Chef, and that is amazing. Like I love that show, and I was like, this is like a really cool person. And then I watched Only Murders in the Building, and then I became a fan of her.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna watch everything with Selena Gomez in it.
And the next part is I don't know where you are on the appreciation scale from 0 to 100 with Amy Schumer, but Amy Schumer appears as an exaggerated version of Amy Schumer in
I like
season.
Amy Schumer. I know you don't. I'm gonna say like, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't, but I really like her.
Like that's kind of ruined this season so far for me
Yeah.
because Amy Schumer appears in the show and she's got Sting's apartment because Sting obviously moved out in the
And she's playing Amy Schumer.
yeah.
Oh wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's got a really good show out on Hulu, Life and Beth. It's really good, but I feel that because Amy Schumer, people don't like her anymore, they've kind of not checked out that show, and it's a really, really sweet show. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it to you because I know you can't stand her. So
So there's a thing why I can't stand her, because there was a whole Reddit thread about Amy Schumer's entire stand-up sets, for like not just
yeah,
one set but couple of sets, like almost they were all borrowed and stolen jokes from other people's sets, and there were like receipts people had put on there, and
yeah,
that
I've
just
heard of
like,
that. Yeah.
yeah, that just spoiled it for me. I was like fine with her before, but yeah.
Yeah, Reddit, man. Reddit spoils a lot of things. Like I think a lot of you go to Reddit and you end up hating something new that you didn't hate before.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've seen that there. But I think mostly only comedians get annoyed by other comedians stealing jokes, and I've never really cared for it that much. Yeah, if it's making me laugh at that time, I'm fine with it.
Mm.
It doesn't necessarily take much away from me, but I get it that it's a big thing for other people and Joe Rogan and stuff like that. Like Mark Maron and stuff like that. I never really cared, and I like Amy Schumer, so I'm fine with it. But I get also that there was just too much of her. I feel like
Mm.
and it annoyed a lot of people, and then it also affected Jennifer Lawrence at that time, and there was this whole cool girl thing going on. I'm sure Amrita has better views and better ideas why people
Yeah.
hate her than I do. Hmm. Did you get to watch Anek, by the way?
No, I did not get the time to watch. Like, it's very difficult for me to sit down and watch because of the power cut situation. Like, I would
Hmm.
switch on the projector, and then all of a sudden, 15 minutes in the movie, it switches off because the
Right.
power is gone. So, yeah, that's been a problem with me. That's why I've only been able to watch stuff on my phone or tablet, and I don't want to watch a movie on that.
Hmm.
So,
Are you
yeah.
gonna watch Anek? Because I'm quite keen to hear your
Yeah,
thoughts, because you're an
eventually.
actual insider about what's going on, kind of.
I wouldn't say insider, because I definitely would not have the insight as much as people who have studied the history of the land and everybody, like academics proper, because I
Hmm.
don't. I haven't done that. I the last time I studied history was most probably like the 10th standard, which is, I don't want to age myself, but it was a long time ago.
Hmm.
And as far as like the things that happened in the 90s, I only get to experience the things that happen in my region. I only get to hear and read from people who have actually written stuff on it, but it's very filtered down. So I have some knowledge of things that happened, but obviously I have, like, my knowledge is as not as complete, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So Anek is, Anubhav Sinha's new movie starring Ayushmann Khurrana, mostly, and then a lot of like local actors, and it's based in the Northeast, and it's kind of dealing with the struggles over there and the involvement of the Indian government and how it's affected things. It's interesting. I don't think this movie is a success.
Yeah.
It works as a whole, and I think it's also probably the least. In movie the movie of Anubhav Sinha of the recent ones that I've enjoyed the least, and
I think you
it's
can totally feel that everybody
mm,
involved in this project sort of abandoned it once the
yeah,
release happened, and nobody has been talking about it. Nobody's, like, the reviews were very lukewarm, and Anubhav hasn't come up and given interviews as such. Ayushman is the front, the main protagonist, front and center. He's got a cool hairstyle, and a lot of in the making Twitter pictures were circulating a long time before the movie was scheduled to release. But I think there was like, the movie was postponed because of the pandemic as such, and then after the release, like, nobody gives a toss about it anymore.
yeah.
But it also speaks about, it really did not turn out to be a good movie.
Yeah, it's weird because it wants to place itself as a very much an anti Akshay Kumar spy movie. The way, the
Mhm.
way he makes Bell Baby and Bell Bottom,
Mhm.
and it wants to be opposite to that, but it seems to have more in common with movies like Bell Bottom and Baby than other Anubhav Sinha movies does, because
Right.
it just doesn't come together as a movie. Like, it has a lot of these inert ideas, and at the end of the movie you just don't know where the movie stands, where the actors stand, what points it's trying to make. And there's a lot of things that are really badly done. Like, there's a whole boxing sequence,
Yeah.
and this is one of my pet peeves. Like, bad boxing in Bollywood like annoys the crap out of me, and it's terrible boxing. Then there's an actress, I think her name, I'm trying to find her name here. She's called Andrea Kevichusa, I think that's her name. She's amazing.
Right.
But she's supposed to be Ayushman's love interest, I think. But the age gap is so big that he looks like a babysitter. Like, it took me like I'd seen like 8 scenes together with them before I figured out that they were actually like romantically involved. I didn't even figure that one out. And he's also dressed like Yo-Yo Honey Singh, and I don't know why. There's like no reason for it. Like, he's in the Northeast being Yo-Yo Honey Singh. The dubbing is really bad, and I would assume, and if you'd actually watch the movie, I was wondering that I feel that the dubbing and the writing of the Northeast characters is really bad. Like, it feels like either they're probably also not actors, but I don't think they coached them well and they gave them the right dialogues and stuff like that. It's just like sprinkle a little Northeast masala, but basically this movie could have been anywhere.
Which it is actually, because they never sort of disclose the location. It's very like, we are in the Northeast. Like, where in the Northeast, nobody knows.
Yeah. And the movie is beautifully shot though. But I don't know if it's in the cinematography or just the region is beautiful. I don't know which of the two.
When it is not flooded, it's definitely very beautiful.
It is very, dude, you live in a beautiful area, man. And what they show in the movie, it's like, wow, this is a place to see. And the people look so nice, like they look like nice people. Like, but the movie is also filled up with like bro philosophy, like really like basic level. Like, you used to be in college and you had this college dude that was like smoking and thinking it was super deep. Like, it's like these lines like, how can there be peace when the country is in pieces? That kind of level. You're like, wow, dude, kya soch hai, like super deep, dude. And like the movie ends up with like a nationalistic rap song. And then like the two characters that are kind of like Ayushman and his head of the department, they have a drink at the end and then they summarize everything that's happened in the movie. So when you have to do that at the end of the movie, clearly you weren't able to make the points in the movie itself. It's really weird, man. It's really, really weird. I'm kind of sad that after like a good run of Mulk, Thappad, and Article 15, they kind of like, I don't know if they got pushed back or this got edited or this got neutered some way, but somewhere the fire and the passion, like you were saying, like you could see it in the way it was promoted. I don't think anybody was happy with this movie.
Right.
Yeah. But it is on Netflix, so if people want to watch it, I would love to hear what they think about it, and drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com. There was some few trailers that you had like that you wanted to talk about quickly, right?
Which ones?
Well, there was the new one from Darlings. Did you get the chance to see that? Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No.
Okay.
What is that?
Well, let's keep that for next one when Amrita is back.
I can quickly talk about this YouTube show that I was talking.
Yes. Oh, dude, I actually watched a few episodes after you recommended it. So yeah, the show is
Unfiltered by Sandesh Bhatia. He used to be a journalist for Scoop Whoop, and he used to do a show called Unscripted, which so his usual show is more political and it involves political rallies. He used to follow a lot of BJP and Congress and Trinamool Congress. It's mostly Indian politics. So he used to do that show, but then I think there was some sort of a disagreement with Scoop Whoop as such, and then he went independent, and so he started his own show called Unfiltered by Sandesh, where he does the political stuff as well. He still follows national rallies, but at times he just sits down with guests and talks with them in a very cool and casual manner. He's really, really charming. I think he's one of the best interviewers that the country has at the moment. I think the last three episodes that I've seen was with Anurag Basu. Then there was with Pankaj Tripathi, and the latest episode that I watched with was with Manoj Pawar. So really, really fun interviews, and I think people who enjoy Pankaj Tripathi and Anurag Basu and Manoj Pawar's performances will end up loving them so much more after these episodes.
I watched the Anurag Basu one. I'd never heard of this show, but you wanted to talk about it, so I was like, I'll check it out
Uh-huh.
for 10 minutes, and I ended up watching the whole show. And these
Yeah,
are really long interviews, like an hour
yeah.
long.
And
But
like he gives the space and the
yeah,
freedom, and he is very nutcut at times, and he just I don't know, he has that really, like, he really plays the role of an interviewer so well. Like
yeah,
he tricks them into saying all the things that maybe they were very apprehensive about talking, but they end up having fun going back down memory lane and revealing all the things that they did in their career and such. And because Anurag Basu, Manoj Pawar, Pankaj Tripathi have been in this whole space of coming from a small town, going to Delhi, studying in NSD, and coming down to Mumbai and being involved in television and all that such. So they sort of mention these milestones that we as television viewers in India can relate to and remember as well. So that's a fun place to explore as well.
and like I've done interviews with
Mhm.
stars and actors. I've done a lot of them, and I think a lot of times when I watch other people interview actors and stars, they either are too loud,
Mhm.
they can overtake and become like RJ personalities, which
Yeah.
is annoying. They don't, and the energy is off. Either they're such big fans that they can't even ask a decent question,
Mhm.
or they're just like intimidated, or they're part of that Bollywood machine where it's all very like standardized
Yeah.
media trained interviews. And I think with Sandesh, he strikes that balance perfectly, where he's none of these three. He's
Yeah.
not intimidated at all with the people he's speaking with, and he strikes a report, and he also manages to keep quiet at the right moment and let them talk.
Yeah.
And it's quite fascinating. I'm going to be looking forward to more of his interviews. And I think I do get jealous, man. Like we had a few interviews, like requests from PR companies recently, like, can you interview this person or that person? And they either fell through, or we only had 10 minutes on a Zoom call, or they were like going from one meeting to the other, or the guest was something that would not really gel with our show. And when I watch, Unfiltered with Samdesh, or I watch, the Bombay Journey or the Slow Interview, I get
Yeah.
so jealous that they are face to face. They have an hour long. They can talk about things, and we just don't have access to that. Like, it feels like we just still get
Yeah.
those old, press bites, just a bite, just a bite. And I personally am not interested in those kind of interviews. So I get jealous. I don't think I would be as good of an interviewer. I'm definitely not as good as an interviewer as Samdesh is. I think he does a great job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's on YouTube. So I think there's only 3 interviews with actors, I think, but there's probably more coming, because I saw in his viewerships that the numbers are much higher when he's interviewing known actors. So I think that could be a cool thing. Shall we read a few emails maybe?
Yeah, sure.
And if you do want to send us an email, send us one at youpodcasting@gmail.com.
So this email is from Heather. They say, "Hi, Asim, Sujoy, and Amrita. Firstly, thanks for all your excellent work on Khandaan. I love your podcast, especially now that you add some Southern Indian films into your discussions. You always make me laugh, along with all of you, and your guests are always amazing. I've just caught up on the episode where you talk about Vikram and KGF 2. The drive between Melbourne and Geelong and back, about 77 kilometers each way, is just enough time to listen to one or most of one episode. Sujoy, I'm surprised you didn't enjoy Vikram. Although I agree that Kathy is a better film, I love the entire cast here, especially watching Kamal Hassan back in an action role. I do agree that the best part of the film was Surya's cameo at the end, but I saw the Tamil version with a good audience, which probably helped. I'm looking forward to the next Lokesh Kanakaraj movie and where he goes next in the universe. The main reason for writing was something you mentioned about the audio in KGF. The sound is overwhelming, but I think that is very much Prashant Neil's style to make everything louder, bigger, and brasher. The very first Kannada film I ever saw in the cinema was his first film, Ugram, which had the same approach to sound and included the black cutaways that also bedeviled KGF 2. I still loved Ugram though and was instantly hooked on Kannada cinema. While I slightly prefer KGF 1 to KGF 2, I do enjoy Prashant Neel's style of film despite the audio onslaught. Thankfully, most other Kannada films I've seen don't use the same deafening approach to sound. Perhaps Avane Srimanaranya, I don't think I'm pronouncing it correct, but in parts, but not to same extent. It was also awesome to watch KGF 2 in the cinema with an appreciative crowd who cheered and cried at all the right places. I feel that Kannada movies seem to be either way OTT action films or clever dramas like Ulida Vadu Kandante, Kiragurina Gayali Kalu, Godi Banna. These names are going to kill me.
I'm so happy it's you and not me.
Yeah. In reply to Asim's question about Yash films, I've only ever seen one other Yash film, which I also really enjoyed. I saw Gaja Kesari in the cinema and thought Yash was awesome. I'd recommend this one, but it's quite different in style to the KGF films. I did write about it if you want a sneak peek at some of the songs, etc. Thanks all. Really love listening to you dissect the Khan films. Here's to many more episodes of Khandaan. Cheers, Heather. Heather, I think, writes for cinemachat.com, if I'm correct. And yeah, Asim, what do you think? Did you like Vikram as much as
I
me?
don't think we ended up talking about it. I think you reviewed it, and I was super excited, and I didn't like it, unfortunately, either.
Yeah.
Sorry, Heather. It
And we
didn't
both
work.
are like action movie fans, right?
Yeah,
We grew up
yeah.
on our dose of Hong Kong action and 90s Van Damme action and Arnold and Stallone and all of that. And even now, when a good action movie shows up, even if it's an Indonesian action or a Bollywood action or a South Indian action, we appreciate it as much because it takes a lot of, blood and sweat and tears to make those. But somewhat like Vikram just didn't work for me, man. It felt very, I don't know, very, very loud and very ingenuine in a way.
I think, but I do feel that if people are huge fans of, Kamal Hassan, there's a lot of like references clearly that are
Yeah.
working for the fandom, and it's a movie for the fandom. And because I don't know the song cues, I don't know the dialogues and stuff like that. I don't know what it's referencing to, but I feel that the moment is built up to really, get CTs and whistles and stuff like that. So because I'm missing that, I'm also missing a part of it.
Yeah.
But there's also like a reveal around the the interval point, which everybody can see coming, right? So it's not necessarily the reveal, but how they get to that point.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that journey is very engaging, to be
And
honest.
even the reveal wasn't like I'm supposed to really cheer at that unless like I was totally under peer pressure
Yeah.
because I'm surrounded by super fans and they are all cheering.
It's not
Moment
a
felt
reveal,
great.
it's a hero entry. It's like a
a
40-minute.
re-entry.
A 40-minute hero entry, right? So,
Yeah.
and
Like,
I don't know.
Obviously, it's a Kamal Hassan movie. He's not gonna die in the first 10 minutes,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also just getting tired of this Vijay Sethupathi act that he's doing.
Mhm.
I feel I've seen way too much of like Master. It was the same thing again, and I don't know. Like he's such a good actor. He's done such great things. Why is he stuck in this? Like this role that he's doing. I don't know how.
Yeah,
Like
it's
this.
very repetitive. He's done that
Yeah,
in many, many movies and much better.
yeah. Like this one punch overweight gunda kind of thing that he's doing, and
And
I
and
don't
it
know.
goes nowhere here. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're doing that in a Kamal Hassan movie. At least in Master, there's like 50-50 thing.
yeah,
But here, there was, I don't know. It didn't work for me. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm sure it's probably more for the fans, though.
Yeah, and Heather mentions one of the clever dramas from Kannada's cinema, which is Ulida Vadu Kandante. And I watched Ulida Vadu Kandante at the London Indian Film Festival when it was released then. I can't exactly remember the year, but I really, really love that movie. It feels like a graphic novel, and it's almost has,
Yeah.
and it's like many, many narrators trying their versions of the story. It's a very Rashomon kind of a movie, and it's really smartly done. Rakshit Shetty, who is the main actor in that movie, he's such a star. I haven't watched many of his movies though, which I think I should. But it's again like that got the sound correct. I must say it's not as loud as KGF2 or KGF.
Yeah, I remember you liking that movie. I
Yeah.
remember that, but it was like one of those titles that I can never really remember. I don't know if it's streaming somewhere or not.
It's on YouTube with subtitles.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Actually, I have seen one of his movies of this guy, Rakshit Shetty, the cop one. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Avane something.
Okay.
So I had actually seen one of his movies. I think our friend Josh Hurtado hypes up this guy a lot. So I've checked out his movie and I thought it was quite interesting. Okay, next email. We have one from our friend Nimrat, previous guest who writes. She was on which episode did we have Nim on? It's been a while, Nim. We need to have you back on. But Nim writes, hello, Franz. Jokes aside, hello, Asim, Sujoy, Amrita. It's been great to hear you guys on a regular schedule. And the Patreon content has been fantastic. If you want access to the Patreon content, head to patreon.com/Khandaan Podcast. Then you can see really cool things. We've been posting quite a few things. I think we're due for a few extra content. I've got a few things prepared, so it's going to be coming soon. But the last few weeks have been a bit of a mess. Really been enjoying the extra little bits and bites of sound here. Just wanted to bring up some info regarding the recent episode with Pitu. I have to say, disclaimer, we don't take any responsibility for whatever Pitu says on the podcast, right? We're totally disavowing it, okay? Yeah. Where you guys discussed Cannes, and I think it was missed that India was being honored at the festival, and therefore a lot more Indian artists were taken by the government to mix, mingle, showcase Indian talent. Hina Khan is an extremely well-known TV actress, and alongside Pooja Hegde and others, they were a team that was there to represent the talent of India. I also think there was a missed opportunity regarding Deepika Padukone being actually a part of the jury for Cannes this year, which is amazing for her to be brought up on that stage internationally. She's also only one of 6 Indians to have been on the jury. Yeah, I think we mentioned that Deepika was kind of, it was a bit of I agree, Nim. I think it was a bit of a missed opportunity. It was a bigger deal than it was made out to be, I feel. So you don't know Hina Khan, right? We both said we don't know her.
No. Yeah. I don't watch Indian TV, so other than like reality TV shows, I don't watch Indian TV.
Yeah. Also, Nim writes, I understand that some of Dharma... And this is actually one of the reasons why I wanted to read Nim's email, because actually I've had this email from a few Punjabi people before. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to kind of bring this one up. I understand that some of Dharma productions can be a bit garish and in your face, but to associate with Punjabi culture alone, it hurts a bit. Especially as most Punjabi individuals across the globe are trying to fight the stereotypes and separate their identity from the image that Bollywood has bestowed upon them. Don't forget, Punjabi culture can be soft and subtle as marches too. We just haven't had the ability to take back what's been perpetuated out there by others. Oh, Amrita might join. Hey, Amrita.
Hello.
Hello. Look who's joined us from the caverns of Agraba.
Open sesame.
Yeah.
Is there a echo?
Yes.
Yeah. There's more echo than your voice, to be honest. I think you should record in a kambal.
It'll come to that actually. Like 1 minute. Let me just see कि मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ.
Almira में घुस जाओ, and then you roll out like Renuka Shah.
Is this better? Is this slightly better?
Yeah, slightly better. I think we're wrapping up anyway, so it's just good to have you on for the last 50-20 minutes.
But this is a nice place to join actually, because you will definitely have more to say than me.
Go on.
We're basically reading Nim, our friend Nim's email at the moment. And I wanted to bring this up because we've had a few emails about the depiction of Punjabi culture and also then some statements we've made on the podcast. So I think I wanted to kind of address that. So I'm reading out her email about that. Yeah?
Okay.
So where was I? Yeah, don't forget Punjabi culture can be soft and subtle as marches too. We just haven't had the image that Bollywood, ability to take back what's been perpetuated out there by others, just as many other cultures and religions as well. As you guys know, the last 2 years have been especially difficult for Punjabis as there's been a lot of targeted hate since the farmers' protest. And we've lost two influential Punjabi singers under the weirdest circumstances. So there's definitely a lot more identity conversation happening within the Punjabi diaspora. I think Akshay's loss of his fan base is a big part of why nothing is working in his favor right now. But as always, being the Bollywood junkie that I am and living the Punjabi diaspora experience, if you guys need any information regarding what's current beat or either topic, don't hesitate to reach out. Lots of love and happy to hear you guys on the podcast. So I was saying that it's been ages since we had Nim on the podcast, so we need her back on. But I thought I wanted to just kind of talk about that a little bit because I think she was specifically talking about the episode we had with Pitu. And first of all, we don't take any responsibility for what Pitu says, but I do think Nim raises an important point. I think a lot of times we might get skewed by the image, portrayed in Bollywood about, and even like I was reviewing Runway 34 earlier, Amrita, and even there the depiction is so caricaturish. It must be annoying if you're Punjabi, right? Like that this is the only image that you're being shown on screen of you.
But I mean, a lot of this is basically Punjabis themselves in Bollywood, right? It's people like Yash Chopra and
Karan Johar.
who else? Yeah, Karan Johar is Sindhi actually, so like maybe like yeah. But I mean, there's like so many like when we talk about the Punjabification of Bollywood, like it's not like Bollywood went out and found Punjabis and then like were like, oh yeah, we can do a stereotype of them. It's Punjabis working in Bollywood. Like people like Akshay Kumar, for example, as Nim points out. The reason why he had like that giant Punjabi audience is because he himself is Punjabi.
Right.
So when we talk about the stereotyping that is happening, it's not wholly other people who are doing that. It's Punjabis themselves. So it's a conversation. So I think it's like two things at once. Like it's that Punjabis are rightly talking about like what it means to be a Punjabi in the current scenario. Because I think like this is, as Nim points out, like this is probably some of the worst times for the Punjabis as a people since the events of the 1980s. So like after 20 years, things are pretty much really bad again. So they're struggling with that, and in the middle of it, like Karan Johar's like stealing from Pakistani Punjabis and like putting it in his movies. So and also like I mean we've talked about this multiple times on the podcast about like how Bollywood basically has no connect whatsoever to ground realities these days. They're like running so scared that they can't take any kind of political action whatsoever, much less depict it. So it's a thing where like you don't see yourself represented. Even when we talk about like people have talked about how Punjabis are overrepresented in Bollywood, but then Punjabis are saying ki this is not what we mean when we say we want representation, because this is just a fetish, basically.
And guys, I mean, we only have Miss Marvel, us Pakistanis. That's the only thing we're basing our representation on, So it's slim pickings for us too, But I don't think it's a good time for anybody, Like I think we were talking about the Northeast. It's not a good time for them on cinema. It's not good for there was even like a bit of South Indian representation in Anek too. I didn't even mention that when I was talking about that movie earlier. But
Chakravarti is in that, right? When he has that conversation with Ayushman.
And he schools him.
Yeah,
Ayushman is schooling him. So it's a very interesting dynamic that they have in that movie. Yeah, Amrita, glad you're back so you can talk smartly about this because we were like two idiots. We didn't know what to say about this. So I'm glad you stepped in. How you been?
Just work, work, and more work.
Did you watch anything? Did you watch any trailers, any movies, or anything you want to talk about?
I did not watch anything, but I did. Oh, I watched the trailer for Coffee with Karan. Do we want to talk about
I
that?
kind of do, but I also like it's dropping in 2 days' time, and I'm wondering if we should do like a recap kind of thing, or like like get it into our regular show that we talk about the episodes. But I don't know. I'm kind of excited about it. Like I wasn't really before, but now I am. I don't know why.
Okay,
What about
Asim,
you?
if you are a true fan, tell me your best 3 Coffee with Karan episodes.
I know exactly which one it is. It's my first favorite one is Imran Hashmi and Mahesh Bhatt.
Oh,
That's
wow.
my favorite one.
Okay.
Second one is
When
early Shah.
Mahesh Bhatt says vicious.
Yeah. Everything Imran Hashmi is saying is amazing.
Yeah.
Probably my second one is some early Shah Rukh or early Abhishek. Abhishek Priti Zinta, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
or
I will do anything for you, Karan.
yeah. Also, the early, the one with Shah Rukh, where he's like, "I might not wake up as you, but I might wake up next to you, Karan." That's like one amazing line, and I mean, and then I'm thinking, the Bhai one is good just for the memes. Like I'm a virgin. Can you beat that? Like honestly, and also just that he's put Karan Johar on edge during an hour of that show, which is
Yeah.
amazing. And but then also the Deepika Sonam just for the level of cattiness that they have. That is so
People still give the shit out of that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
the Shobha De memes that came out of that
I
episode.
feel I feel like that episode might have not made as many waves as it did if Rishi Kapoor
Yeah.
hadn't lost his shit over it. Like Rishi really made out like it to be like the worst thing that ever happened to his son. Like
My son is persecuted by these women. What is your favorite episode,
nonsense.
Amrita?
Probably the Abhishek Preeti one, and then the Shah Rukh one where he's like, like Karan is like, "What is a film that you regret doing?" And he was like, "Kuch kuch hota hai."
And Karan's face drops.
What do
That's
you
what
think
he
of the new
gets.
season though?
It looks like it's gonna be pretty mid. Like I don't know. Like it seems to be full of people that nobody cares about.
Nobody our age cares about, I think, no?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people care about who's on there. Like I think Ranveer and Alia, right?
So those were the only two people that I thought like people would actually
Yeah.
care about. And then Akshay is coming with Samantha, and Samantha has a huge fan base, so that might be good. Who else? Then it's like the bacha parties, na Sarah Janvi, which is already insufferable.
I like
And then
I'll keep saying it. I like her.
yeah, I've said this before, right? Like her character is such like her personality. Like if you like her personality, then it's amazing. If you don't, then it's just grating
Yeah.
AF. I am interested to see like the interactions between Sarah and Janvi because I'm just really puzzled by that friendship. I don't understand it, so I just want to. I don't know where it came from, so I just want to see what that is. And then like I guess Ananya and Siddhant, maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, pretty
There's
mid.
also
Like can't even
Kiara Advani,
remember.
Shahid Kapoor, Vijay Devrakonda, and Ananya Pandey. We've Sara and Jhanvi you mentioned. We have Varun and Anil. That will be fun. Varun and Anil will be fun.
Yeah, that will work. So this is basically is just devolved into Karan inviting the
Yeah.
cast of his movies. Like that's basically
And
it.
Kriti Sanan and Tiger Shroff is also on the list, which is going to be terrible, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like Kriti, but like
Yeah.
no,
She's
Tiger
nice.
is not fun in interviews, though.
no, he's not.
What about you, Sujoy? Which one are you looking forward to?
Am I looking
None? Are
forward
you
to
going
it?
to watch it? Are you even going to watch Coffee with Karan?
I'll check what the Twitter buzz is like, and I'm sure people will upload clips and losing shit over who wore what and who
Yeah.
said what. So depending on what the buzz
Yeah.
is, I'll maybe or may not be checking out. And yeah, depends on my Hotstar access in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Also, Akshay and Karan, that never goes well. Like, I've seen a few
Oh
interviews with
my
them together, and
god! Do you remember the last time Akshay was on the show and he sang to Twinkle? It was so much cringe.
yeah,
Uh,
that's
I don't know why, but every time Akshay and Twinkle interact, it's
Yeah.
always cringe. Like, do you remember when like Akshay was like walking the ramp at some fashion show, and he went up to
oh
Twinkle and like
god.
asked her to like unsnap his jeans? And I think they actually got sued for it, like for public indecency or something over it. And I was like, why? Because like she did it as if she was doing it for like her 3-year-old that wanted to go potty.
Oh god, who got? Did Twinkle get sued or Akshay get sued? That would be an interesting thing, right?
I think
Ah,
both of
Akshay
them. I
went
think.
to the Mumbai police thana or something for that.
Agya police. Uh,
Chaddi to pehn lo.
yeah. Alia Bhatt, Ranveer Singh. Ranveer Singh is just going to be so extra. I'm going to have real trouble watching that one. But yeah. Also, like Shahid Kapoor was never a good guest, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like talking to you guys and looking at the guest list has got me worried. So I don't know if we should do an entire recap show, but I think maybe our audience can let us know. Drop us an email and or a message and let us know if you want to hear our burning thoughts on Coffee with Karan in podcast form. Anything else, Amrita, that you talked about that you want to talk about?
Oh, did you guys talk about the big announcement that never
No, we
was?
didn't. We kept it for you. We wanted to keep a few things to talk with you. So go ahead, tell us the big announcement that wasn't.
So this is not really an announcement. It's like that the Himesh Mankad guy who's like trying to set up his reputation as some sort of Bollywood
He writes
insider.
Pinkvilla, right?
I don't even
Pinkvilla. So
know
that
what.
already established where we
Yeah,
are.
exactly. Exactly. And he came out with this news that Shah Rukh and Salman are going to be in a movie written
Aditya.
by Aditya Chopra. And so I feel like, so this is the kind of stuff that Pinkvilla always does, right? Like they basically put two and two together and put like five. So the Aditya Chopra writing it is, I think, like tukkabazi. Like they just basically were like, who could write it? Aditya Chopra probably because he wrote the Doom treatment basically. And then the Pathan, we already know that Pathan and Tiger are in the same universe. So it makes sense that at some point, and that Ritik is also in the same universe. The war universe is also the same thing. So it makes sense that these three will like somehow cross paths in the future at some point. And we already know that Tiger is going to be in Pathan. So I think he basically was like, in 2024, these two are going to be in a movie together. And yeah, so like nobody's saying anything. Like YRF is definitely not saying anything. Shah Rukh doesn't talk to the media anymore. Salman doesn't care to talk to
Salman dropped a
anybody.
hint though. He did drop a hint. I saw it on my Salman Khan Universe Twitter threads. There is an interview I think either a couple of months ago or maybe last year where he did say like पहले पठान आएगी फिर टाइगर आएगी फिर दोनों एक साथ आएंगे. So and
But then you can't go by what Salman says because Salman
yeah,
will say anything.
yeah, but he also like I don't know, like I think he will, but I don't know. I think that he's probably wants to make it work, and I think probably the way things are going for Yashraj, they want to make it work. Like they don't have anything
Yeah.
else to kind of promote and kind of get the brand up, right? So it makes sense. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been like it's a rumor. It's not really happening because I was still riding on high from the news.
He basically posted a picture of a
Yeah.
fountain. Awesome. Never change.
I honestly think it was
That
too
was
subtle
very
even for
funny.
people to get. I'm wondering like, if they got it or not. Puara. Yeah. I'm excited, man. If it happens, it'll be cool. It'll save all of Bollywood because nothing else can happen that can. Although Karan Johar wants to make an action movie next, so I wonder what that'll be like. Maybe they can get him to direct it.
Wishful thinking. Oh, I have just one Instagram comment to read.
Oh, right. Please. Sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
A quick one from Tarun on Instagram. He says, I love your podcast. You guys make my morning walk so fulfilling. That's a very short and sweet one. And another one from Dhara, who writes, Hey, I'm such a huge fan. I've been listening to this podcast for a year. I'm a doctor from Ahmedabad. I was preparing for some entrance exams, and there were days when the only thing that made me smile was your podcast. I haven't even watched a lot of these movies. In brackets, I'm 24. But just hearing you three talk and laugh your way through the podcast makes me feel so much lighter. It's the perfect escape, like hanging out with your close buddies. So thank you. And please never stop doing this podcast. Also, I'm a
Oh.
huge SRK fan, so thanks for introducing me to some of his old movies. Also, I love it when you took current Bolly news. So please keep doing that too. Much love.
A 24-year-old doctor, man. What have we accomplished in our life, And thank you for listening to us, uncle aunties, like talk about Bollywood.
Thank you, Vachi.
Jeete raho.
Juk juk jiyo.
That's lovely, though. This is not the first email from doctors and medical professionals we've had about listening to Khandaan, which makes me worry about things. But I'm happy for the listenership for sure.
Yeah, Khandaan is definitely good for your heart.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the review as well?
Yeah, I've got a few reviews. I can read them. Okay. These are reviews from Apple Podcasts. So if you want to leave us a review, which we would love, it helps us kind of climb the charts and the ratings. Go to Apple Podcast and you can sign up and just leave us a review. Don't do anything else if you don't want to be an Apple person, but anybody can sign up. So this is a review from Ray from Amrita, I think. I think that's an American flag. Engaging, interesting, relatable. I connect with a group of people well, brings me my childhood memories of watching Salman Khan movies since MPK, Maine Pyar Kiya. Salman Khan is my connect to Hindi cinema and the language. Obviously, I understand Asim's feeling better. This is such a good review. That's all I want. I want people to understand my feelings. This is why I do this podcast.
The only reason I asked him to start this podcast is कोई इनकी feelings को समझे.
Yeah, koi to samjhe. The next one is from Sachin. He writes from India. This is so much fun to listen to. Asim, Amrita, Sujoy, coolest folk. Never knew Bollywood reviews and trivia could be so much fun. Especially love the reviews of guilty pleasures like Daulat Ki Jang and Chandramukhi. Keep it up, guys. Great. This one is from Great Britannia, from Sammy. 90s Sammy, sorry. I enjoyed chuckling along with the host when they revisit the older movies, those early 90s movies we all watch but so rarely get talked about. But please, please, please review Ek Ladka, Ek Ladki. It's such an overlooked gem. I would listen to this over and over. Amrita, when can we get you to watch Ek Ladka, Ek Ladki?
That's a Mamu movie, right?
Eventually, we'll have
What's the
to, I
Salman movie, man?
suppose.
Salman Neelam?
No, it's Tip 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 Parish. Isn't that Amir?
That's Neelam and Amir, yeah.
Oh, let me double check.
Oh man, this is the remake of Overboard.
Oh, yes, it is Salman.
How would I not know, guys? Why do you even doubt me on Salman? It's the remake of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's Overboard. That's what it is with Chuchu Uncle. So I know it really well. We. Clearly, I'm already excited, so I want to do it.
With Afsana Pyar Ka.
Yeah.
That is Amir and Neelam.
Yeah. So yeah, you just need to convince Sujoy and Amrita to watch this movie, and then I'm ready. मैं तो तैयार हूँ. कब से ready तैयार? You know. Okay. Next one is for. Should I pronounce it French way? Merlange from America again, I think. Or Merlange. I don't know how Americans pronounce it. I feel as I'm hanging out with friends. I'm so happy to have found this podcast, and especially that it's in English. Each episode makes me feel as I'm hanging out with my movie buddies. Not only is it entertaining, but I also learned so much about Indian culture and Bollywood politics, plus about living in Belgium. Okay, this was never the intention of this podcast, but we'll take it. We'll take it and go.
Yeah. We'll take whatever we can.
I hope we've also taught you to like be careful in Paris because you'll either see people doing potty on the train or else they'll mug you when you're walking the streets. Yeah, we'll tell you about the Europe that nobody talks
And
about.
clearly, Annu Kapoor is not a listener of Khandaan Podcast, or he would not have gotten mugged in Paris. Did I trigger you with that video, Sujoy?
Yeah, I didn't even click on it because I knew what was coming.
That's hilarious. Great. Well, thank you everybody for the reviews. We try to read them after a few episodes when we have a few of them. We always read them immediately though. If you want to write a review, do that on Apple Podcasts or drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com. If you are looking for extra content, go to patreon.com Khandaan Podcast. And we also have a merch store with t-shirts and hats and things like that. So you can get some of, Sujoy's creativity over there. I think a lot of people also received their free gift for signing up to Khandaan. So we got a few. I think I got a message from Usama, if I'm not mistaken, that he was really happy with the Timothy Shalimar postcard.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that. I'm happy those things are coming. Amrita, thanks for joining us. I'm really happy that you came for the last 15 minutes. Backbencher mentality.
I'm so sorry. This is a work day. What
But
can I say?
we'll all be together, and I'm hoping the next one we will be talking about Veer Zara, because I think a lot of people are waiting for
it's
that.
I hope it doesn't take 22 years for us to get to the Veer Zara episode.
Never say
Amrita,
never.
where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Amrita IQ.
Find her on Twitter. हमको भी नहीं मिलती Amrita.
You can also find Amrita in the middle of Bangalore traffic.
That is true. And I'll be a captive audience because I can't move. I'll be sitting in one place.
Sujoy?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at 93K, and you can also follow Khandaan on TikTok and Instagram at Khandaan Podcast. We are uploading all sorts of weird memes, which are actually taking off. Some of them you guys like, and you guys are also writing to us on Khandaan Podcast Instagram, so that's great.
It's a good way, and I'm always excited when I get a comment or like an email there, because I don't regularly check the Instagram. That's usually Sujoy's field, and halke viral ho raha hai, so it's good. I'm happy for you, man. I'm Asim Birdie. I think everybody can find me on Twitter or whatever. Drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com. Thank you for this unexpected Halka Pulka episode, but we'll be back to our regular programming very soon. Thank you.
Khandaan Podcast और एक्टिंग। Girl, you're my chum,